Hey everybody, this is GGB. Today we're going to be talking about the one Friday game that's going to actually have some national relevance when you're talking about the playoff picture. That's at 10:30. You got West Virginia, who's 2-3. Traveling number 23 BYU, who's 4-0. BYU favored by 20.5 points on ESPN. Nico Marchiol has gone 66-98 for the Mountaineers, thrown for 720 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jalen Henderson has had 29 carries for 146 yards and a touchdown, and Cam Vaughn has had 17 catches for 276 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bear Bachmeier for the Cougars gone 61-90, thrown for 697 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. LJ Martins had 55 carries for 400 yards and a touchdown, and Chase Roberts had 16 catches for 234 yards and 3 touchdowns. West Virginia is 2-0 against BYU all time. They played in 2016 and 2023. Never at BYU, though. And this is the first game West Virginia will ever be traveling to BYU. West Virginia is 1-0 in one-possession football games, and under Sataki, BYU is 0-2 against the Mountaineers. Again, you couldn't have asked for a better start if you're talking about for the Cougs, right? When you're talking about getting into Big 12 play, I don't know if there's a better way to start than a trip to Colorado and West Virginia at home, right? It's a nice easing into it before you head into a really difficult stretch, right? There is a stretch where you're going to play 4 very, very good football teams. They're all contenders atop the Big 12. That's going to be a really hard stretch if you're BYU. So you would like to save your losses for that point, right? You could probably afford to take one loss if you're BYU and still have a good shot at an at-large bid, right? So if you're talking about it from that perspective, BYU can really afford to lose one game. Again, you're still alive with 2 losses, but it's going to be more of a roll of the dice. The Cougs are a really interesting football team to me. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because traveling on the road to a Power 4 football team is never going to be ridiculously easy. That's never going to be a cakewalk. But they did not look great against the Colorado. So you're looking at it from that perspective. I just don't know whether to believe in this BYU team or not because I know BYU's strength is never going to be the offense. That's not why this team is a contender this year. It is because the defense is so good. But the real question I have is, can BYU be that good of a defensive team every single week in and week out? And I think eventually they're going to mess up. This is not the week, though. West Virginia is not a very good football team. They have proven it time and time again in Big 12 play that this is a team that is going to be bottom tier of the Big 12 that is going to lose most of their games. So I think this game is going to be interesting to watch for BYU. But to be fair, we said a lot about this last year, right? Oklahoma State was traveling to BYU. They were completely defeated in conference. They looked like they were a really, really bad football team. And you had an undefeated BYU team, a ranked BYU team that looked like they were going to be a team that could make a real run. And while BYU didn't end up winning that game, that was a ridiculously tight football game that Oklahoma State probably should have won, and it was their most heartbreaking loss last year. So maybe there's something similar that happens this year, but if it does, then I'm very concerned for BYU because Bachmeier is not Retzlaff, where he can make that play to win you the football game. I think this is still a game defensively that BYU dominates. West Virginia's offense has been bad almost the entire year, and you're telling me you're putting them against one of the best defenses in the Big 12. They're suddenly going to start being really good. I just don't really have that faith in the Mountaineers. Give me the Cougars at home to win and the Cougars to cover.